Hi, welcome to IP Somm. I'm Heather Boyd, owner and proprietor of Pillar IP, and my guest today is Debbie Trenholm, sommelier and the founder of Savvy Company in Ottawa, Canada. Debbie, thank you for joining me in this COVID IP Somm edition. Cheers.
Cheers, good to see you.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about your company?
Well, now that I've had a sip of wine, it'll be a fabulous description.
So much easier, yeah.
So much easier. Savvy Company is a business I started in my parents' basement, actually, 16 years ago, and it's the longest running job I've ever had, and I can't get out of it.
Well, we don't want you to. Let's be clear on that.
So, I'm having so much fun, and I have a bit of a motto that says, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. And this is certainly really interesting work that we've been able to develop. And I say we because now it's no longer just me. And I work with a team of about 20 sommeliers that are really dynamic individuals. I'm proud to have them as friends and as colleagues. And we're constantly creating really interesting experiences that involve wine, cider, and also artisan cheese. And we love waving the Canadian flag every opportunity that we can, because there's so much of those products that are not at the LCBO or at the grocery stores. And especially during COVID, and I know we'll talk about this more, is we have always been delivering directly to people's doorsteps, and we're doing even more of that now during the lockdown.
Excellent. So if I were to put that down into a small, tiny pitch for you, I would say that Savvy Company is a company of sommeliers that bring Canadian wines to the public in a very educational and fun way, right? Does that make sense?
That's a great way of putting it.
So the reason I wanted to have you on my video blog was to talk about the differences between a trademark and a service mark. Mm-hmm. And well, let me ask you that. Do you know the difference between a trademark and a service mark?
I know we have a couple of our products are trademarked, but I've never even considered or didn't know anything about a service mark. So I'm ready to learn.
Okay, so it was a trick question. Service marks and trademarks, they're the same thing. We just refer to service marks for companies similar to yours, where your primary focus is not on a tangible product that you're selling. Rather, you're giving experiences. You're selling experiences. So that translates to services. So a service mark refers to trademarks that designate the source of specific services, whereas a trademark can refer to designating specific goods or services. So they are interchangeable. So I wanted in particular to bring you on here because you do such a fabulous job of branding your services and getting out there in the public eye. Like everybody know in the Ottawa area, we've all heard of Savvy Company because you're so out there. You have a very memorable brand with you wear it well. Do you know what I mean by that? Like you wear your brand whenever you go to an event from that's put on by Savvy Company. Not that we're doing that a lot now, but when you were holding events like tasting Ontario PEC tasting kind of thing, all of your sommeliers wear your purple shirts with your logo across them. All your what else do you brand? I mean, here's the brand if we can see it there.
We always use our wine tasting glasses with our logo on it, and
right.
It's also interesting. I was actually debating whether or not I wear purple today because I do have other clothes that are not purple. It is something that I've learned to be on brand. And thank you for your kind words about that, because sometimes I think about it, and sometimes, when you work so hard as an individual to grow a business, to then have somebody from the outside talk about us and in such a way that it's strong and it's a very memorable brand. Our first name of our company when I started was Savvy Grapes. And even to this day, I actually picked up a parcel this afternoon from one of my corporate clients, and on it said Debbie Trenholm, Savvy Grapes. That
I'm
name
not gonna
changed.
lie. I'm not gonna lie, because I've known you for 16 years.
Yeah.
When I was looking up your company on doing an internet search today, the first thing I put in was Savvy Grapes and went, oh no, company. So but that's good because it's longstanding. It becomes almost like an institution, secondary meeting. That's the goal of trademarks, so that even though you go from Savvy Grapes to Savvy Company, and the reason you did that is because you're not just focusing on grapes, right? You've got the
That's
cider,
right.
you've got the beers, you've got the cheeses. So there was, you did a pivot to expand your business, which is, what everybody's having to do right now. So, but you did it long before the necessity, which was fantastic.
We did it about 12 years ago. And it was really interesting, the number of people who still to this day, even yourself included, I guess, still call us the Savvy Grapes. And back then, it was just 2 people. Now we're 20 and we're still being referred to as the Savvy Grapes. But the Savvy component is so important.
Yeah.
And that is about everything that we do. And that keeps us on brand. That whole engagement, that whole, we're fun people, we're interesting, we don't have that snob appeal that's often associated to wine, but I think is changing. We're part of that change. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that we are able to meet really interesting people, and they're winemakers or cider makers or cheese makers, and then we introduce them to people like yourself. And that, to me, I think, and we're seeing it really a lot right now, is people, now that we've gone through this lockdown and we're choosing who it is that we want to buy from, we want to buy from people that we know that by first name. At least that's the way it is in my house. And I'm starting to hear more about that. And more on a first name basis with the people that we bring into our house, and the products that they put a lot of energy into making. So we've been doing that for so long. It's a wonderful moment that the world is catching up to us in terms of our vision, but it's also that we can still deliver that brand and that experience in a bigger way. And the number of times I'm getting calls now about, well, will you do a wine tasting online? Sure, I'll do a wine tasting online for however many people, 5, 10, 100, whatever it takes, but it's all about sharing that experience and that enjoyment of wine or cider, and the people that we meet too is really, really interesting.
Yeah, so putting that human touch on it makes it, the shop local aspect of it really does lend more authenticity to the emotion that you're trying to evoke in the goods that you're providing, or the services that you're providing. And I think that's really important for Canadian consumers. With everything that's going on right now, we all want that positive emotion that's attached to the goods and services, right? So what you're doing is you're reaching out to wineries, local, and by local I mean across Canada, right? You have wines coming in from across Canada, right?
That's right.
And in doing that, you're promoting their brand.
Yes.
You do a focus on a winery each month, right? So this month, who's the focus?
Well, actually,
what's that?
Yeah. So in addition to selling our Savvy Care packages, which are curated assortments of wine and cider and cheeses, we also have Canada's longest standing Wine of the Month Club, the province's only Craft Cider of the Month Club, and the same, the only National Cheese of the Month Club. And so that is something that's one step even further to going local and supporting local, is that it just shows up every month at your doorstep.
It's better than the bills that we get.
Exactly. And so what we do is we feature a different winery or cidery or cheesemaker. We talk to them about what is new, what they're developing, and then our sommeliers get together. We sample all the different wines or cider or cheeses, and we pick the best ones, and those are the ones that are delivered. So we've done the hard work. I know It's so hard,
No,
but it really is.
but he's got to do it.
And we picked the best ones. And so last night we actually got together, and this is a bottle of Good Earth. It's a small winery in Niagara. It's along the Beamsville Bench, and they have little to none of their wines at the LCBO, which is really amazing. It's a hidden gem. And what we like about it is that their wines are fantastic. I had 4 sommeliers get together with me last night. We tried 6 different bottles, and our goal was to pick the best 3.
You were social distancing, right?
Oh yes, it was all on Zoom, and we couldn't pick the best 3.
Oh,
Not only did we have fun, but we got into a bit of a debate about, well, should we pick this one over that one and this one over that one? And so we left it, well, here's our top 2, and then they left it up to me to pick the 3rd. So it will be a surprise. We recorded the whole experience to then be posted online so people can see the hard job that we have, but we are picking the best of the best and sending it. Right now, you can't go to very many of the wineries. They aren't set up, or they're just figuring out how to set up by invitation or by. So this is a way just to have the winery wine tour experience at your own kitchen table.
yeah. I absolutely love that. Now you mentioned, because I'm drinking the Drea's
Yes.
wine, which is obviously, this came in a Savvy Care package from Debbie. I had the cider package. I've already gone through the cider. I still have a couple of the cheeses because I bought the cheese package as well. I'm all in for what you're giving out here. So this is from Niagara Peninsula, a rosé, and you said that Drea's is rosé by a winemaker whose name is actually Andrea. So I'm going to do a shout out to my girlfriend in Germany, Andrea. I'm drinking this in your name. Love you, miss you. But you called this what did you call it? A virtual winery?
A virtual winery. So the wine industry itself is massive. It's more than just wineries and the big, beautiful chateaus that we all know about, or the farmhouses.
Yeah, the ones in France that nobody can get into, but we all aspire to or drool over, yes.
Exactly. And there's the wineries themselves, there's the grape growers, who are basically the grape farmers, and sometimes the winery owner wears both hats. They grow the grapes and make their wine with the grapes they grow, or with the farmers next door, or they source grapes from other places nearby because they need to have a big production. In addition to that, there is this emerging number of winemakers who don't want to go through the headache of actually setting up the big, beautiful destination type of winery and all the operations that go along with it. And so there's lots of hip new winemakers fresh out of school who want to get their feet wet and make their own wine. There's some people who are soon to be retired but don't want to retire just yet and still make their own wine. And then
I'm growing Cabernet Franc grapes in my backyard right now.
Oh, cool. So there's this emerging segment of the market called virtual winery. So best described as a winery within a winery. So Drea is a good example. This is Melville wine. I'll get a better picture of it as well. They make their wine, or this winemaker, as well as Drea, who you're drinking their rosé, they don't have the overhead cost. They don't have the operational cost. They are purely making wine. And they're making it within a subletted kind of arrangement in a full operational winery off onto the side.
So let me ask you, because we both became sommeliers through Algonquin, and we learned a lot about garagist wines. Would that be like the equivalent of a garagist, except they're only selling virtually kind of thing, or?
It could be. Garagist often refers to it's something they're creating in their garage, literally, or such small productions. Drea just has 2 wines out now. She only just started this time last year.
Good.
And she's got a rosé, a white. Her father, by the way, was Carl Kaiser. And so he was one of the founders of the Canadian wine industry.
Yeah.
And so Andrea Kaiser has been working for the wine industry and the hospitality, he even ran for office. And then while she's been working at Rife Estate Winery, which is a very large winery as well, and running the show there, she had the opportunity to actually create her own wine at that winery. So she can sell it through Rife.
Yeah.
And then that's how we are partners in making sure that her bottles get to your doorstep.
So it's almost like a combination of a garagist and an estate, single estate kind of winery type situation or offering kind of thing.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the fact that you're bringing in all these wines from across Canada or whatnot. You're promoting their wines in your wine of the month or your other offerings as well, ciders or cheeses or whatever. So each one of them has a brand. Do they give you information about what you can use to sell their products? Like, I mean, obviously, it's understood that you can't bastardize their branding or anything, right? Like, and apologies for the words, but in other words, you can't modify what the name of the wines or the brands or anything. You're not putting your trademark on the bottle of wines or anything. So that means that you're promoting and distributing their wines while still providing services. So the goods, just in terms of IP here, you're promoting the intellectual property of the wineries while still maintaining the integrity of your own personal intellectual property or your company's intellectual property. So it's like dual branding here, which is awesome.
And we include maps, and we've included magazines just to hopefully enrich that experience so you can put your feet up and enjoy it more than just a quick glass to go.
And a tasting glass. They include the tasting glasses.
Yeah, and we also include the tasting glasses too, wherever we can. Wherever there's a little bit more room left in the parcel, in go the glasses, just to fill up the experience.
And to promote your brand. I mean, that's what this is all about, right? Your brand is your identity, and if you don't promote your brand, people don't know who you are. Then they would just look to the wineries and stuff. If you didn't package everything with your brand, and your brand doesn't just include the trademark on there. It's the whole. It's the entire envelopment of those services, that authenticity that you lend to it. So you got it going on, girlfriend.
Well, allow me to share this. There have been a couple of situations where with the position that I'm in is selecting and recommending. We've had some times where I will actually talk to the winemaker, the cheesemaker, cider maker as well. And because we've selected some of the smaller ones and the hidden gems, they're like, oh, thank God, now I can make payroll. And that just, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
We're not all on a rat race trying to get to the finish line. We're all basically just trying to keep afloat right at the moment. And when I can identify a winery who maybe goes under the radar a little bit, but they have fantastic wines, I want to get them to you so that you can try them, so that you can be a fan of theirs. Yeah. And if it gives you an opportunity to discover something new, I've done my job. And in that, I've also helped them just with a new revenue stream and getting out to more customers during a time when it's very difficult to do that.
You have a brand that is seamless and comprehensive. It incorporates not just the trademark and the trade name of Savvy Company, but it's also the look and feel, which incorporates the colors, your branding that's used on all materials, even the promotional materials that you're not protected for. So I applaud you, and I thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw here, please like, share, comment below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to get in touch with Debbie Trenholm at Savvy Company, we've provided her details in the comments below. So thank you very much, and cheers, Debbie.
Cheers.